let's start with the man himself, Thom. How long a shoot was this? And where did you shoot it?
Oh, we shot in Covington, Georgia. It was about an hour outside of Atlanta. How long a shoot was it? Shit, 32 days or something? I can't remember. That was it? Yeah, somewhere in there. But yeah, it was cold, but fun. We were all in our late 20s, and it was 6 days, all nights. So on Sunday, we'd go to Atlanta and dance all night, so we could sleep all morning. And she was the leader.
Okay, we're gonna go down, and I want to hear your biggest memories of doing the film. Can we start with you, fine sir?
First of all, Vinny, I like your lines. You know, hit the cherries and make the noise. Come on, Flash, get in the cell. Yeah, nice work. I love those lines. Nice. Did you off book right away? Yeah. My memory is when we were killed.
Yes. First of all, we were not in Covington, Georgia with that.
Really?
No, we were in Griffith Park. They told Thom that when we saw a preview of it that they needed one more kill.
3 more kills.
3 more?
I had 13. I was happy at 13.
But we were one of
We need some more.
the add-on kills.
So we were. It was in the middle of the night. Things got long and it was cold and it was like 4 in the morning. And originally, when we were on the motorcycle, we were going to be shish kebab. Hanging like that. That was our special effect. But you didn't have any time. The special effects didn't work. So he said, let's just do this thing. So there's Jason with a machete, and the camera's over on this side, and we're over on here. And he said, just put your arms out like this. Except the guy who's playing Jason has one eye, and it's a real machete. So when we got shish kebab, we weren't acting.
No.
We went, ah!
So that to go right through our also, with that death, we had blood bags in our mouths, and we were supposed to spit them as the machete went through. We were supposed to jump up as if we had been lifted, right. And then fall down dead and spit the blood out. And I kept wanting to have a fabulous spit. But it just kept dribbling down. And it was so bad. And we only had one dress, and we were fighting the light. But anyway, that was one of the fun parts.
You did really well.
Thank you. All right. Also, they had the title line of the movie. Happy Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Vinny Gustafaro. I played the ridiculous Rick Cologne. Thom wrote me some of the best lines I've ever had in, I don't know, I've made 40 movies, and these are still the best lines I've ever had. So, that was the fun part for me, is he finally, because we had worked on a play before we shot this movie, and Thom finally trusted me, and so we were on the movie set. He had everything pretty tightly scripted, and I thought it was brilliant, but some of the times I was allowed to squeak and go off, and that's where Into the Cage Flash comes from me, you know. So he wrote Into the Cage, and I say Flash, and I end up developing a great relationship with Tommy Jarvis. So my favorite part of the movie, oh God, that's really hard to say. But what I like about it is tonight, I always tune in on one thing, and tonight it was Harry's music. I just really believe how well he was able to help the story with his composition. We're going to get to him in a little while. Hi, Harry.
Did you crush a real roach? Is that a real roach you crushed in that scene?
Yes, that was a real roach. We had to run outside the cabin, find somebody that could find a bug big enough.
Animal control.
Right, well, it was too late for that. And Thom told me, you gotta punch him, but you gotta punch him in a way that we could still see half his body. You know, so he was sticking with his Jason, theory of how do you kill people? Well, you just take parts from them. So anyway, yeah, that was a real roach. And I had a lot of fun in the scene when he throws me in the jail. And wow, you know, that whole thing between the cage and the red dot. Here's my last thing. Technically, when she gets the jump on me, she points the red dot at me, and I had to turn around, according to our meticulous director here. The red dot was already aimed, and I had to turn around and make sure I would land right
Hit your mark.
That's right. Hit your mark. So now everybody hears. Thom.
Hey.
What is you?
Not only did I fuck up with you, but the ex-wife, Nancy McLoughlin. Don't leave home without her. She did an amazing job, and you have no idea how fucking cold it was. Do you want to quick do that?
What that?
It was 18 below zero. The pond was, the puddle was heated. The showers were not. It was freezing. And it was so cold, it was icy. So it was supposed to be a quick little, take out the money. I was screaming and squiggling to get at it, and he wouldn't say cut. I kept waiting, cut, and he wouldn't. But I have a much better story. You remember when Sissy comes to the window and goes, "Who's out there?" I promise you, while we were editing, well, Tommy was editing, I consider it the royal we, was editing that scene, the police came to our house, and there was a helicopter above, and the police were banging on our door. The Tommy was a little sleepy and didn't wake up. I did. And I ran to the front door, and the police were there. Well, actually, I opened the window and I ran downstairs. And I was trying to wake him up, and I couldn't. And then all of a sudden, and he went to the window. Who's out there? Are you crazy? It's the police. The police are out there, Tommy. I couldn't wake him for about 20 minutes. I think that's the real story.
I was in the movie.
He was so stinking exhausted. He could not wake up or hear the helicopter or me pushing him. The police are here. We could be dying.
Why were the police there?
There was a burglar or something in the area.
Drugs.
And nothing happened.
And little Nancy was named after you, right?
Absolutely.
Sure, no.
And also, this just cracks me up. Because I refuse to say who's out there in my underpants. And because I was telling you, I was such a snob. I take it all back, but that's why I believe you wrote my card to be a little sarcastic. She would never say who's out there, correct? Is that why when...
Yeah.
Are you mesmerized by me still? Still mesmerized by me.
We're standing together, we're talking.
Just like old times. All right, now, Thom.
Thom Mathews.
Thom Mathews.
How much fun. The movie still holds up too, Thom. It's just so great. You know, I sit back and I watch and I see my mistakes and what I would have done different, but I always think about what we were doing and what we were shooting it and what we were doing. I'm sure you go through the same thing as you're watching it. And things that we could have made better, but you know, overall, I think the movie's a great movie. And you guys, thank you all for coming out. I mean, it's just so amazing. And if this is the first time you've seen it, it's really great. Thanks for coming out. We all really appreciate it. And if it wasn't for the fans, you know, we wouldn't be standing up here. But so, I want to thank you all. And you know, I personally had a blast on the movie. We were on location. I was a young actor, and just happy to have a job, and working with Thom, he was so chill and just so easy going, and of course Vinny and I, we've become very close friends. We have a cigar every now and again, and his beautiful wife Cindy, of course, and Darcy, yeah, we're pals too. We'll be talking to her. We just had dinner before we came out. Anyway, I want to thank you all again. You know, you guys have been great, and hope you enjoyed the movie.
Thom, were you into horror before you just come off making the original?
I did Return of the Living Dead, and then I asked Thom, which was I did that a year earlier, Next year's the 40-year anniversary of that movie, and then 2026 will be the 40th year of this movie. But because I was curious, because I, did pretty good in that movie, and I asked Thom if he cast me because I was in that movie, and he said no. But this was like recently. I asked him like 5 years ago, because I had always thought of it. Was I into horror? No, not at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it was into filmmaking. I learned a lot from filmmaking, from watching Thom and everybody, just hanging out on the set and stuff.
Really is.
Darcy, you Can't Buy Me Love, and yet you showed up in one of the greatest horror sequels ever. And tell us about your best kill, I think, in the film's franchise.
Just after Can't Buy Me Love, I booked this, and I was in heaven, going on location and meeting new people and being young, and it's just so exciting. And I got to fight with Jason. What could be better? And we spent, a whole night in that bathroom sequence. And, I had bruises and I wore them like badges of honor the next day. I was limping, but I didn't care. I'm like, look, I'm still alive. And then I went on to do a John Avildsen film. A little director that did Rocky.
Exactly.
Won a little thing called an Oscar, but my favorite director, ladies and gentlemen, McLoughlin. And we all get together and do signings and do these conventions, and it's unbelievable. It's the gift that keeps giving.
Wow.
This film, and I'm so grateful, and thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you, everybody. All of you. Thank you.
No, it's always a pleasure, Darcy. Let's talk to you for a minute there, son.
Hi, I've not been to this is my first time. I'm really glad I came out here. I have not seen the movie since I was for about 15, 20 years, and I realize now like how funny and witty the movie was, because I was so young at the time and I haven't seen it so long, and it's an awesome movie. And my favorite memory, probably being on set, well, how warm everybody was, and everybody treated me like a little girl, like that was family. And we stayed out all night, and we got to go eat. I love the machete, it was strawberry jelly, and I used to love telling people about it, and like I get behind the scenes and help do the trees, on the sides when it wasn't my scene. And I'm really grateful I got invited here. I haven't been to one of these, so I'm not used to public speaking, but thank you very much for the awesome memory of my life. Okay.
The question, one of the things, you're so good. There's a scene where you're sitting in bed, you're doing loads and loads of dialogue. There's a little girl sitting right behind you, staring at the director behind the camera. And it makes your performance jump even more. Because there's a little blonde-haired girl behind you just staring at the camera.
I actually remember her. I don't remember her first name. I was so young. But yeah,
what's her? Jason standing out there?
No, the scene where you're in the bed when they're making sure you're okay.
Oh yeah,
with all the kids.
She was my little buddy in the set. So yeah, we had so much fun. Thom was such a great director with all the kids and his wife. Yes.
Your namesake.
Yes. And it was a memory that I cannot be forgotten. I got to bring my daughter. She's 18 now.
Holly, have you ever seen the movie before?
Not fully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna bring my 9-year-old too, but then I realized that it probably wasn't a good idea. But I saw it at 9, and he loves horror movies, but he's called tonight. But he was really excited to come. But I videoed some for him. Anyways, thank you so much for having me, and
Jason, do you have anything to say? Oh. Harry, it's
the man of few words. God, I love this movie. I really love this movie. And thanks to Thom for giving me the chance to write probably about 12 of the best cues I ever wrote in any movie. That first one, I got lost coming here, And I'm going like, oh man, I missed the opening. Damn it, I love it. Anyway, Thom, you know, you guys over at the movie, I've killed all of you, I think. But Thom and I went through, and, oh no, that's right.
You're still a survivor.
You're still here. Well, maybe later. Thom and I went through a lot of stuff, and things that we know that probably no one else. How old is your daughter, by the way?
19.
Oh, 19. Is there anybody here like really, really young? Is there like
13-year-old right there? I saw it for the first time here.
13? No. Because I've got a great line.
His father's terrible.
Cover your ears. We had a screening at Paramount. Remember that?
Of course.
Yes.
And it was all, I don't know, a couple hundred people, right? Writing notes and giving us notes. And, but only people who loved Friday the 13th. There were no ringers or anything. I mean, this audience was ready. And they went bonkers, okay? But the best part, some of the best parts was getting the writing back. More kills. This is great. More kills. Jason needs to kill more people. It was just like one after another. And then, Thom, what do? We went out and what? How many?
Yeah, I mean, amazingly, we were under budget. Yeah. Still we're under budget.
So Thom, we were all under budget.
Yeah.
But Thom in his, you know, in his coolness, because there's so many little subtle things. Karloff place, Cunningham Road, and he had all sorts of little cherries and things buried in this movie. And if you go through it again, you'll see all kinds of things. But one of the things was he had 13 kills.
Wow.
And he thought, wow, this is cool. We're going to have 13 kills. Oh, no. Nay. When that bell rings, the bell rings every certain amount of time, and you got to knock somebody off. So Thom went out and knocked off a few people. But have you ever been in a theater with an audience like that audience at that Paramount screening? These people were going nuts. I mean, they went crazy. But do you remember the classic line? Remember the one guy had the laser thing, and he was pointing it at the screen and showing, hey, she's over there. All kinds of stuff like that. But the classic line was in the scene with the van.
The Winnebago.
The Winnebago. Now, I want you to cover your ears. Do you remember the line, Thom?
No.
Oh, somebody, these people talk to the movie. You idiot. Yeah, right. Yeah, go out and look. Good idea. They just talk to the movie the whole way. Anyway, here's the van bouncing up and down, and this and that. And we're sitting up watching it. This is like Frank Mancuso Sr. We were all sitting there. And one guy says, if Jason don't fuck, nobody does. do you remember that? I wrote it down.
I couldn't hear shit. I mean, they were so loud. It was.
Well, the place went crazy. Oh, yeah. Anyway,
I gotta ask.
First of all, for me, it's a pleasure.
How'd you do the?
Yeah.
What made you think of that?
Please.
Yeah.
That's me.
Wow.
And you owe me a nickel, because every time that happens, I get a nickel. Anyway, no, that goes all the way back to part 1. And it's become the jaws of Friday the 13th. Anyway, I'm done.
What made you come up with the?
Yeah, the kill.
What made you come up with?
What made me come up with that is, in part 1, I don't think I'm going to give anything away. We don't see the killer till reel 9. All we have is POV of the camera doing. And my problem dramatically was, how do I get the killer into the movie without seeing the killer? And at the time I was studying something, I thought, well, maybe a voice. But thank God for Betsy Palmer, because if you remember the last scene, in the very last scenes where she's chasing Adrian, there's a close-up of her mouth, and you hear Jason's voice going, "Kill her, mommy," and then she goes, "Kill her, mommy." She says it, it goes back and forth. And I said, holy smoke, she hears voices. So I took kill, K-I, and ma, and A. And I went to a microphone and went, and then I echo repeated it. And that's it.
No more mystery.
Nancy, quick question. You're one of the most self-referential people in the Friday the 13th movie. You mentioned watching a bunch of horror movies, and then you offered Jason money to prevent your death, which you would know would not work.
I never watched horror movies. The only reason I don't know why he wrote me the way. I know that's why I didn't have my clothes off. I know that's why I didn't have sex or do drugs. I know that's why. I have no idea why I was offering him money. That would be so dumb. That is a dumb thing to do. But I do have American Express card with Easter eggs all over them. If anybody's intrigued.
Wow.
I shall show you.
Did you know Tony Goldwyn would be so big after this?
Who would have a clue? But we had the best 3 days.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing. And he had just gotten married, and he was just, because we all know when you're acting, you're not really, you're just freezing and bonding with people. So I froze and bonded very well.
Wow. You're very good at the film. As the earliest kill, you're very, after the two guys, after the guy in the graveyard, it's very disturbing.
You're very gracious.
Well, there was a big commercial on at the time.
Yeah. Don't leave home without it.
American Express.
As some of the audience referenced.
Don't leave home without it. That was the funny part.
Oh my God, she's got a card.
I got my American Express.
I have to defend myself about offering the money. This last night I saw The New Strangers, right? And there's always that moment where it's like, what do you want? It's like, well, if somebody looks like they're going to hurt you, don't you want to like give them money or do something to stop them? But there you go.
Wow.
There's always somebody who would say, thank you for whoever did it tonight.
Oh, thank you. You got to sign it. You know, one of the things I liked is the two boys, Rosencrantz and Gildersleeve. Yeah, tell us about how did you get that in? It was so funny and so referential. You were playing with the material, you know?
Yep.
Can you tell us about that, the two boys?
Little Rascals. I'm a big fan of Little Rascals, and I wanted to have that sort of dryness of that they were masters at, those kids. And the same thing, all the comedy, and this is what made Thom really stick out with me. And that rapport and that wise guy banter is what I wanted to do with it. So everybody's sort of like a little sharper, a little more, witty about things. And that was the thing with the boys. It was that same idea. I wanted to give them something that...
The scene with the Indian and the rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And,
I love that.
yeah, that was purely Tom Frederick, sorry. Purely, I just said, you know what to do. And just took that one take, and I said, thank you, that's great, we moved on. But yeah, I wish Thom was here tonight. He's up in Vegas and working, but he's incredible.
Was Mick Garris surprised by your homage to him with the sheriff?
Yes, he was. Yes, we've been good friends for a long time.
Homage to everybody.
Wow.
I mean, Stephen Banks is here, I believe, this evening, and that would be Annette Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
And not played by Stephen, and I still don't know why Stephen.
Wow.
I wasn't in the union yet.
Oh, Confederate man.
Stephen Banks Home Entertainment. Wow, very great. Wow.
Yes, Stephen Banks Home Entertainment.
Let's do one question more, and then we can move to the lobby.
Yeah, you know what? Let's open it up to the crowd. People want to ask some questions? Come on, don't be shy. You, back there in the cheap seats.
Yes. I know that a lot of the movies, like in the mid to late 80s, had like a problem with the
Talk louder.
MPAA.
Talk louder, sir. Don't be shy.
Yes. I know that a lot of the movies in the mid and late 80s have problems with the MPAA, like cutting different scenes. And I noticed that, like in almost every kill, the point of impact, I call it, was missing in a lot of them. Was that an issue with the MPAA? Like, was there more films?
Yeah, there was no MPAA. You're right. I didn't notice until I saw it now tonight. There was no nudity in this. The mobile home scene, I remember it was a lot crazier as a kid when I saw the movie.
You want to take that one, Darcy?
Hey, Darcy,
Yes, sir.
why was there no nudity in the mobile home?
Well,
Spiritually or physically?
yeah,
Spiritually.
you know,
I don't want to get
and,
nudity.
you know, I mean, that wasn't sex. We were just dancing. I asked I was a little concerned, trying to take my top off. Tommy said, no, you don't.
Oh.
I mean, there's two theories. I mean, one is, I think that, I don't really remember, but I think that's the story. Or the other one is, you came to me and said, well, the producer said there's no nudity in this film. Will you take your top off? And I was like, already signed the contract. Ain't gonna happen. That's not the real one. It's the first one. Okay. So yeah, I was like sweating.
I went to your dressing room. I said, if you show them to me, you don't have to show them to
No, I mean, I really, when she said she was uncomfortable, I said, I want the comedy to play, you know, that was she made the call, I said, okay.
I think, I think what the guy meant is the violent part of it. And what Cindy was saying is, like, isn't a great example in the scene of when we get killed, there's a plexiglass thing over by the camera, and we turn and spit blood, and the screen was, I mean, it was brilliant on your part. But you said that they cut all violent stuff at that time.
Well, they told me going in, look, they're gonna like tear this thing apart. So shoot it in a way that if you have to cut around things, you can. So I did a lot of things a couple different ways. But everybody says, where are the missing scenes? There's no scenes missing. Some box, someplace has all these tiny little trims, because we had 9 screenings for the motion picture rating board. And they kept picking on something else and picking on something. And the thing that they wouldn't let off on during 7, 8, and the 9th one was the sheriff's back bend. Not a drop of blood, nothing. I had to take 2 back and forths out of that before they were being okay. I go, what? I mean, I don't have blood. I mean, the one cop's head opened up and you saw, you know, part of his brain come up. There was a lot of things, triple decapitation. We saw all that, you know, and they took all that stuff away. But that was the one they picked on. Go figure.
I have a question from tonight. I saw Jason being totally destroyed by that thing in the underwater. How was his body together?
Just hit him in the face. Did you read the script?
You were sleeping with the director, for God's sake.
I didn't read it, but
Gracie, tell them about your
okay, so the bits and pieces we saw on the screen was a different part of his body.
Yeah, he shook.
He rock and rolled, but he just got chopped here. And the next movie shows the part of that.
Ignore me.
Any more questions for illustrious cast, crew, and composer? Anybody? Tracking?
Down in the corner.
Oh, right over here. You.
I know she had
over there in the corner. Oh, we got him. Oh, who's in the corner? You, timid one.
What was the experience like filming the final scene underwater?
I got a question. Are we ever going to see a director's cut, Tom?
Yeah.
That would be so dumb.
That's it. It's all pieces. There's nothing really to show.
You know, I was lucky enough to be in I'll answer your question in 1 second, but I was lucky enough to see Sheriff Garris's death in the days. No music, no soundtrack. It was so pure and just boom. And we only got to see the end of it in the movie. It was just so frustrating. As far as the underwater stuff, it was a lot of fun once we got settled in, because we were down about 15, 20 feet in a pool, and that underwater scene took place in a couple of different places, but my particular stuff was in a pool in the city of Industry. And once your ears get popped and you get acclimated, because we're down there for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes each scene, there was scuba divers off camera, so whenever you wanted oxygen, you would just hit your chest, and they would give it to CJ and myself, and that's kind of how it went. It was pretty, pretty controlled.
USC Olympic pool.
Wait,
It's a huge pool.
They shot Joe Dante's piranha in that pool.
How did CJ with the mask on get oxygen?
He didn't. He was supposed to signal that somebody would come down and do it real quick.
He just went out.
Only the chopping up was at my dad's pool.
Yes, that's what I remember.
Fucked up his filter real good.
By the way, how the hell did you get Mickey Mouse on a little girl's shirt in a violent, bloody, R-rated horror movie?
I just did it. I don't know.
Don't tell anyone!
Any more questions for our peeps? Right here. Oh, you, sir. Which one? I thought I heard it. Can you hear a touch of like tubular bells in the soundtrack, or like did you hear a touch of tubular bells from the Exorcist sound?
So you mean the piece tubular, or did I use to? There's two things. The piece tubular bells, Michael Field. Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that single tubular sound.
Because I used tubular bells also, like when he was stabbing him in the thing, it was like he was dead. But it sounds like tubular bells because I never even thought of Michael Field when I was doing that. But all it is, how can I explain it to you? Do you know a lot of music? Yeah. Okay, well there's a thing called an ostinato, which is like obstinate, the word obstinate, it won't stop, but it's all chopped up, and then you put an accent on random lines, and that's what actually tubular bells is to see the same thing. So technically it is the same rhythmic stuff, but I wasn't believing, I wasn't thinking of tubular bells. Should I tell my secret?
Yeah, please.
Well, no, you were talking about Darcy not having a top on.
Depriving us of nudity in the mobile home.
I did score reel 2 with no clothes on. That counts.
There's going to be a 15-minute intermission if you want to meet the cast and crew in the lobby and ask them or have them sign your materials. Sound good?
Yeah, we're going to get David Roth.